Hello, everyone, and welcome to day two of College of Business Week. Today, we are focusing on our graduate accounting program, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Dr. Charles Thomas, who's representing the program. If you do have questions for him as he's going through his presentation, we ask that you please submit them using the Q&A box or the chat box, and we will handle those at the end. But for now, I just will turn things over to him.
Oh, welcome. So I'm Charles Thomas. I teach in the accounting programs and specifically in the Master of Accounting program. And just want to kind of give you an overview of the Master of Accounting program. Our Master of Accounting program is designed to help students become professional accountants across a variety of different areas. So we we're interested in accountants becoming CPAs, CMAs, and some of the other certifications as well. So our program's designed for that sort of thing. So now's a good time to become an accountant. The outlook's good. Bureau of Labor Statistics tells us that the accountants and auditors as a profession is growing a great deal, faster than all occupations combined. So it's one of the fastest growing occupations. And so that's a good thing. Second thing that's good for accounting is that the median pay tends to be relatively high. It's one of the top growing jobs. It's one of only five that have a median pay above $50,000. And so we're real pleased about the outlook for accountants. The profession's changing a bit, so we'll talk about some of that perhaps. But now's a good time to become an accountant, a professional accountant. Now, accounting requires more than a 4-year education, and so we try to, with our master's program, get people ready for that full professional accounting career. And our 5th-year work in the master's program is designed to do just that. We've designed this program for both traditional and non-traditional students. So our traditional students do 4 years of undergraduate work and then go into a master's degree, oftentimes immediately thereafter. So we have a lot of students graduate with a bachelor's degree in May, start the master's program in June. These days, we actually get some students that overlap. So they start their master's program work while they're still an undergraduate. But to become a professional accountant these days is not really a 4-year journey. It's a 5-year journey for almost everybody. So we have those traditional 5th-year accounting students, but we also have folks come into the program, the Masters of Accounting program, from all sorts of different professions. We get nurses, engineers, all sorts of different folks come in that are interested in switching careers. So they tested a career, they decided that they want to switch to something different. In fact, we even have a faculty member who's a registered nurse and served as a registered nurse for several years, decided to switch careers. And so this program is designed for folks that meet that profile. We offer classes, Stephenville, Fort Worth, Waco, and online. And many of the classes are offered online. We have very few that are only offered in the classroom. In fact, I think we may just about not have any that are only offered in the classrooms. We have students coming in from all over the region, all over the Cross Timbers region, as well as well beyond the Cross Timbers region. And we try to accommodate that with the online classes. CPA is the most common credential, the one probably that most people know about. And it's an excellent credential. The research is pretty clear. Those holding a certified public accountant credential over their careers make a whole lot more money than professional accountants that don't hold that credential. In accounting these days, you need to hold at least one credential in addition to your education. So the CPA is the most common one. We have many of our students go on and become certified management accountants, and that credential is also extremely valuable, a whole lot more compensation over the course of a career. Chartered Global Management Accountant is a lot like a certified management accountant through a different organization. And we have some students go on and do that. But the Chartered Global Management Accountant, both CMA and the CGMA cover management accounting topics, and the CMA is a much more common credential. We have some students that go on and pursue the certified fraud examiner, and in our coursework, we actually offer some of the coursework leading towards the CFE credential, another good credential as well. Our typical class size is for universities are relatively small, so 10 to 30 students. In some cases, even smaller than that. So this allows for a pretty high degree of faculty interaction across the learning. So, for example, last night I had a class with 6 students, and so we got a chance to do a lot of one-on-one interaction. One of the things we're proud of that we can tout because it's publicly available is our CPA exam pass rates. We have some of the highest CPA exam pass rates in the state, particularly for a school our size, for a school that has a program our size. The most recent figures that we have on the uniform CPA exam was for the calendar year 2024. In the spring, we should have 2025 numbers, but our pass rate was 56%. CPA exam pass rates in general run somewhere slightly below 50%. So 56% pass rate is actually a stellar pass rate. Typical schools our size will have pass rates in the 40s, sometimes in the 30s. So a 55.6% pass rate is a really high pass rate. Only 7 schools in Texas scored higher for the advanced degree holders. So with the master's program, we're expecting folks to come into that program and then walk out with an advanced degree. And so they would be part of this cohort that has these stellar pass rates. So we had the highest pass rate of any of the schools in the Texas A&M system, total of 12 schools, and many that you have heard of. So we're really proud of our recent MACC graduates and their success on the CPA exam. Accreditation, we're accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, and we've had that accreditation for a number of years and maintain that accreditation. That's an important accreditation, partly for students that want to go on and do additional advanced work, and also because many employers are interested in the school's accreditation. Most recently, we added the accreditation from the AACSB, the AACSB, and that's the Association for the Advancement of Colleges in Schools of Business. That accreditation is held by the top 5% of business schools across the world. We achieved that accreditation a few years ago and are real proud of that accreditation. Many employers look for AACSB graduates because it's a way of saying this accounting program, if this candidate came in from one of the AACSB programs, then they should be a really good accountant. So it's an imprimatur that says this is a really good accountant. And so we're proud of that accreditation. So we'll shift here and talk about what does it take to get into the Master of Accounting program. We're typically going to waive the GMAT or GRE, those exams. So we don't have a lot of students that take the GMAT exam. That's the business school master's admissions exam. And we don't have a lot of students that take that because we waive that if you have a 3.0 or higher GPA. We admit students in fall, spring, or summer. We try to keep the program flexible. So Waco, Stephenville, Fort Worth, online, fall, spring, summer, you start whichever semester or whichever one of those locations you want to start at, and we'll get you what you need to get through a Master of Accounting program. It's 30 credit hours. That's basically 10 classes. All our classes are 3 semester credit hours each. And so it takes 10 classes to complete the degree. We don't have a master's thesis option, or at least I think we may have the option, but I don't think we've had anybody choose to do a master's thesis in over 10 years. So no master's thesis, but 10 classes. The process for admission, we've kind of taken a holistic look at the candidates. Many candidates are automatically admitted because they meet those criteria just described, but occasionally students don't meet that criteria. And so we take a look at all the characteristics of the candidate to try to determine whether it's somebody that will be successful with the program. Our intention in this approach to looking at undergraduate GPA, test scores, work experience, and so forth, is to make sure that nobody comes into the program that's not capable of completing the program successfully and then leaving the program happy with their experience in our master's program. And so we do turn away some students, but we obviously admit quite a few students that we feel like can be successful in the program. Typical student these days moves through the program in 12 months. Again, you could start in the fall, spring, or summer, and the courses are set up to where you can complete those if you're taking a full graduate student load fall, spring, and summer, and we've designed the classes to try to do that. So that's typically 4 classes in the fall, 4 classes in the spring, and 2 classes in the summer, or 12, 12, and 6 in terms of semester credit hours. And so most students these days are going through the program in 12 months. Now, we do have some students that have outside commitments. Maybe they're working for firms, maybe they've got family commitments and so forth, and they choose to go on a slower pace. And we do have, in fact, I was in contact with a student this week that's been in the program for about 4 years. And because of the other things that she has going, she wants to kind of complete her program in about 4 years from the time she started. That's perfectly fine. We're happy with that. So you design the program that best fits your schedule. And we try to make sure that the classes are out there that you can work with that. So 10 courses plus a comprehensive exam. So the comprehensive exam covers the breadth of your coursework, and that comprehensive exam is normally taken in a student's final semester. We require 8 accounting courses. Now, for some of the folks coming in with a bachelor's degree in accounting, they've had many of the accounting courses, and so they will end up with more electives. Somebody that's a career switcher coming in with a bachelor's degree in some other discipline other than accounting will typically take 8 required accounting courses, 1 business research methods course, working with the either evidence-based decision making or with econometrics. Econometrics is an exciting area these days because of the data analytics and because of the quantitative work that's done in econometrics and forecasting. And forecasting is a really important thing for professional accountants. So 8 required accounting classes, 1 business research methods class, and then all the students have 1 elective class. And for those that have a bachelor's degree in accounting, they actually have typically more elective classes. So there's some flexibility there if there's some other graduate discipline that you want to try to incorporate, sometimes criminal justice or engineering technology. So there's a range of possibilities for many of those folks that come in with a BBA in accounting. The required accounting courses, we require the governmental and not-for-profit accounting. It's another financial accounting and reporting course, but governmental entities have some specific nuances in their financial accounting. And so we covered that, we addressed that in the governmental and not-for-profit accounting course. Advanced financial accounting is a continuation of the intermediate financial accounting courses. And that's required in our master's program. Accounting theory is required in the program. If you have a bachelor's degree in accounting, you will have taken the Federal Tax 1 class that covers taxation of individuals. We require a second tax course that covers taxation of entities, primarily corporations and partnerships, but also estates and trusts. So those are required courses. We require an ethics for accountants, ethics for professional accountants course, and then we require auditing and a financial statement analysis course. The financial statement analysis course is an interesting one because it puts the aspiring professional accountant in the seat of the folks that are actually using those financial statements. And you're asked to switch chairs, move to the other side and say, okay, now we've prepared these financial statements for you. Now you show us how to use them. And so we require that financial statement analysis class. We have some elective accounting classes as well. Many of our students take internships and intern with professional accounting firms and with other organizations, manufacturing organizations, and so forth. So many of our students will take an internship. and that will count for one of the 10 required courses or 3 semester credit hours. And so it's a pretty flexible internship. We follow the rules that are set forth by the Texas State Board of Public Accountancy with respect to what it takes to qualify an internship. Estate and gift taxation is a commonly addressed class. Accounting information systems, for those with a BBA in accounting, they will have completed an accounting information systems class. For others, we offer that as an elective. And then fraud examination, we offer both at the master's level and at the bachelor's level. We're pretty proud of our faculty. There's a listing of the faculty. On the right-hand side, you can see that they've published in a number of different outlets. And the faculty on the left-hand side, you can see that they're from a wide range of schools, both in the United States and elsewhere. And so you will get exposure to some excellent faculty with quite a variety of backgrounds. And then finally, if you have additional questions, you've got a 3D barcode there, and you've got my contact information. We're always glad to see what we can do to help out.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Thomas. That was a excellent and thorough presentation. For our live audience members, this is the time for you to submit your questions. You should see the Q&A box or the chat box that you can use to submit your questions, and we'll get those handled. I actually do see a couple already, so thank you for that. We'll go ahead and address those. And then I did have some questions of my own for you, Dr. Thomas. So
Oh, terrific.
if I'm reading this first question right, this person is wanting to know more about how the program is executed online and also curious about exam formats.
Okay, two good questions. So the online delivery, we've got some courses that the online delivery is asynchronous. So it's basically recorded delivery. And so some of our courses are delivered in that fashion online. And we have other classes that are delivered live online. So, for example, tomorrow morning I have a live online ethics for professional accountants class. So that class meets at 9:30 in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so we'll meet live online. Well, that's the day after tomorrow. We'll meet that class live online. And those we'll meet in the fashion like this. We're using Zoom for those, and they have a lot of interaction in their live online. So we do that one live online. We do the accounting theory class live online. I met with that class last night. Those are longer sessions because it's an 8-week format. So my accounting ethics class is a 16-week format. So the short class meetings. The accounting theory class is an 8-week class. So those are 2.5 hours live online. We take a break or two during that time frame, but those are live online with this kind of an interaction. And we find that those can actually be some pretty lively presentations, but others are in the what's probably more typical asynchronous, where you've got textbook and you've got recorded materials and so forth, and then interact with the other students and with the faculty member.
Yes. So, do you have a sense of how many of the synchronous courses are offered during business hours versus in the evening?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, so what we try to do is we try to vary that because we're offering classes fall, spring, and summer. And so, for example, what we've done in the past is have the ethics for professional accountants offered during the day live online in the fall and offered at night live online. And in the spring, we do something like that as well. So we try to vary that. The accounting theory class in the summers, we usually do that in the evening. And during the fall, we try to do that during the day. And I think the accounting theory class this coming spring is going to be asynchronous. So we do it live twice a year, day and evening, and then recorded once a year. So we try to vary that because we know that we got students who have different needs.
Absolutely. Very good. And just to be clear, when we say synchronous, that means there's an obligation to report for class on a certain day and time and be present in real time, whether that's via Zoom or in person. Asynchronous is a situation where you're basically working on your own time within the internal deadlines of your class. So maybe you've got a paper or a discussion board post that's due at a certain date and time. As long as you make sure you meet those deadlines, you can accomplish your work whenever you want, at whatever time of day, on whatever particular day is convenient for you. So that's how that works. And then exams, how are there many exams versus papers, and how does that work?
Yeah, so it kind of varies across the different courses. So tax courses don't usually have papers. So it's more common in a tax course to have an exam. In the like advanced financial accounting, it's more common to have exams, but sometimes there's one paper in a course like that. With accounting theory, we have papers and we have presentations that are delivered live. Ethics, they do a kind of a range of different things because that class is about half asynchronous and about half synchronous. So they do discussion threads, which you can kind of self-pace, but there's a date by which you've got to have participated in the discussion threads, and then they take a couple of exams in that course. With those exams, because that class is half asynchronous and half synchronous, they're allowed a 72-hour period to take each of the exams. So you may want to take it at 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning. I may want to take it at 6 o'clock on a Friday night. And so we establish windows for those.
And those exams are executed through our learning management platform, Canvas.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All
they
right.
through the learning management system.
Someone's
Yeah,
asking
not
about,
a lot of paper, not a lot of pencil and paper exams with those courses where the students are remote.
yes, yes. Someone's asking if you could speak more about the comprehensive exams. What is typically covered on them? Um, at what point in a student's time would they take the exam, and what does the exam look like in terms of
Yeah,
form?
sure. So the comprehensive exam is typically taken in a student's final semester. So this is an interesting week because this is the week, I think it's Friday or Saturday is November 15th. And so if you want to pass the comprehensive exam to go through commencement for this semester, which will be about 3 weeks from now, you need to pass that exam by it's the 15th. I can't remember if that's Friday, Saturday, or maybe it's Sunday. Um, so those we've had students taking that comprehensive exam for this semester now for I don't know 10 or 12 weeks, and we got some taking it probably today or tomorrow. Um, the exam itself, it's comprehensive because it's going to cover some of your financial accounting, it's going to cover some auditing, it's going to cover some ethics, it's going to cover some tax, and so it's very broad. So it's designed to be similar to the CPA exam, which is very broad. The typical challenge with the CPA exam is not that the exam carries the hardest questions that you'll encounter in the classroom or certainly on the job, but that it's broad. So typically students, that's their biggest challenge is like, I have to think about this kind of this breadth. So we encourage the students when they, as they're doing their undergraduate work and in their master's program, that they retain their notes and prepare to take a broad exam. Most of our students, like I said, they're going to sit for the CMA exam or the CPA exam or one of the other professional certification exams upon graduation or slightly before. And so our students are prepared for that breadth that you've been preparing for probably since the beginning of your third year as an undergraduate.
Yeah. And that was going to be my next question. So just to be clear, comprehensive exams are usually taken in your last semester, the semester
Yes.
you plan to graduate. And then the professional exam, CPA and CMA, you said usually shortly after graduation or maybe right before graduation.
Yeah, so historically the CMA exam, because it has not had the the stringent education requirements that the CPA exam has had.
Mhm.
We typically recommend to a student to sit for the CMA exam. There's two parts. Sit for one of those parts before you graduate, and then sit for the other part shortly after graduation, rather than to wait. Now, some students will wait until after they graduated. uh, there's pros and cons to that. You finish your coursework. That's to the pro side. To the con side, once you graduate, sometimes people let their study skills lapse, and then it becomes difficult to pass an exam.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of flexibility. That's the historical perspective. CMA, start that before you graduate. And we have students that finish the CMA exam in the month that they finish their master's degree. CPA exam, historically, you were not allowed to sit for that until you finished kind of the equivalent of a master's degree. But the law in Texas changed 2 years ago, and then it changed again last year. You can sit for the CPA exam after you've completed your bachelor's degree today. And so some students will begin to sit for the CPA exam as they begin their master's work. And there's pros and cons to that. If you're going to take, for example, more financial accounting courses, it's going to be easier to pass the FAR section of the exam, the financial accounting and reporting section of the exam, once you've had the courses, or at least once you've started those courses. But you could conceivably take the exam for that section before you've had those courses.
Yes.
The good news
Well,
is that you have a lot of flexibility, but the bad news is you have to make choices about when to
yeah.
sit for these sections of the exam.
Yes. Well, and is there any data on the pass rates for people who are attempting the CPA with just the master's degree?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
well,
with just the bachelor's. I'm sorry.
yeah. So we don't have very good data on that. They just revised the CPA exam about a year and a half ago, and we none of the schools have very good data yet on the
Okay.
CPA exam. But yeah, the early data that's coming in from some of the schools is that those students that sit for the CPA exam before they've effectively completed either all or most of a master's degree is not particularly encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which says to me that really, if you want that credential, it is a smarter route to get the master's degree because it's basically preparing you for the exam in addition to your professional life. Is that
Yeah, well said. Yeah, yeah. So we don't teach to the exam, but we know that most of our students want to become professional accountants. They need some sort of certification. They certainly benefit financially from having one or more certifications, and so we expect that, and the program's designed to assist in that.
Yeah. I notice you have both credentials, the CMA and the CPA. Is that typical? And how does the CMA differ from the CPA in terms of your work functions and what forms or sectors you might be working in?
Yeah, so there's a lot of us that have both CMA and CPA. The CMA credentials recognized worldwide. For a few years, I taught in Switzerland. In
Mm,
Switzerland, they have a very active CMA program, all through Europe, up in Germany, and really through India and Africa and so forth. CMA program is very widely recognized worldwide. And if you want to become a professional accountant and take an international posting somewhere outside of the United States, the CMA credential is a good route to go.
mhm.
The CPA is more narrow. It's mostly a U.S. credential,
Okay.
but the Canadians and the Brits and the rest of the countries have their own kind of equivalent to a CPA, but it's not. And it's recognized worldwide, but it's not quite as uh, important in some other countries as it is here. Now, the CMA focuses on managerial accounting. The vast majority of accountants do managerial accounting kinds of things. A smaller segment of accountants actually are practicing in public accounting in the United States. So that's more of a niche. That having been said, the CPA credential is widely recognized worldwide. So while it's not as tuned into the work that a lot of professional accountants are doing through the entirety of their careers, the CPA credential, if you have that, people will say, "Oh, this person knows what they're doing." I might not ask them to do CPA stuff,
Yes.
but it's a way to know that this person can follow a rigorous program study and then take on the intellectual task of passing the exam.
Yes. Thank you for that explanation. So I wanted to ask you how people with non-accounting bachelor's degrees are performing in this program, and do they need to take what we call leveling courses to bring them up to speed, or how does that work?
Yeah, so as I said, we get quite a few of these career switchers that come in from other areas. How do they perform? Some of our top students are actually career switchers. I think the on this most recent in 2024 on the CPA exam, our top scorer, somebody went in and sat for each of the parts, passed all four parts in one try. That was a career switcher. So oftentimes they come in with a broader background and a broader perspective. So it's actually can be quite a positive to come in as a career switcher. Uh, as to leveling, the leveling because they don't, if they come in with a bachelor's degree in business, then a lot of times they're in pretty good shape because they've taken management and marketing and finance classes and economics classes and so forth. If they come in from engineering or something where they've not taken those undergraduate business classes, then they take some form of a leveling class. We don't ask them to go back and necessarily take all the classes they would have taken as an undergraduate in a business school, but they can take these mini classes and move through that more quickly. And some of
Yeah.
that's actually done through a service that's self-paced these days.
Okay, very good. You mentioned that one of the electives is an internship. Do people typically have a location in mind for that, or does the program maybe help them find opportunities for internship?
Well, we have alumni in a lot of places. So I was talking with my class last night. I think we have two that are doing internships down in Waco this semester. Just happened to be in that class. They happen to do internships down in Waco. One had done an internship up in Fort Worth. So we have accounting grads because Tarleton's had a long tradition of producing fine professional accountants. And so we have professional accountants in a lot of different places. So many of our students will go intern up in Fort Worth with some of the larger firms there. Some will go down to the larger firms in Waco. Some will go out into the rural or more rural areas in the Cross Timbers region. So um, they can, if they work at it, they should be able to find pretty good contacts. We have an active Tarleton Accounting Society, and the Tarleton Accounting Society is bringing in firms and other employers that offer internships. So there's plenty of contacts to be made there.
Very good. The big news in our country and world right now is artificial intelligence. Is that impacting the accounting industry? And if so, are you incorporating any of that concepts or exposure into your coursework?
Yeah, so it's definitely affecting the accounting profession, and we are definitely incorporating that into our coursework. A lot of AI is built on one of the requirements of AI is you have to have a knowledge base. You have to have some place where you're storing this knowledge. And so the accounting profession has shifted in the last decade to more data analytics orientation. In fact, there's sections of the CPA exam that are really focused on data analytics, and our curriculum has moved towards working with larger sets of data because accountants are challenged to do that. So, data analytics, data security, accounting information systems, and so forth has been a big push for the last decade in terms of curriculum. And you see that reflected in the CMA exam and the CPA exam and so forth. So, we try to incorporate that into the classroom as well. The AI has the potential, and we're starting to see this already, the uh, more junior, more elementary accounting tasks are being automated away. And so
Mhm.
what we tell our students is if you think that you can go serve as a first, second, third year person for a 40-year career, those jobs are not going to be there. So when you're thinking about your coursework and you're thinking about preparing yourself, don't be thinking about what you're going to do next year, the year after that, and the year after that. You need to be thinking about what you're going to be doing 10 years from now. And 10 years from now, more and more of those fundamental tasks are being done by artificial intelligence. And rightly so, because some of those tasks are fairly routine and you don't want to spend your career doing fairly routine things.
Which again makes the case for why you need a master's of accounting.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the higher order thinking that's really the important thing. It's
Yes,
good critical reasoning skills, and that's really what we're trying to make sure that our students are prepared for.
yes. Well, I don't see any more questions from our audience, but I did want to end on one thing. I think you did a great job of explaining the AACSB accreditation and its importance and significance. But can you just speak a little bit more about that in terms of um, why it makes sense to choose a program that's got this top elite level accreditation?
Yeah, so the primary thing that a university does that's or a college of business does with the AACSB is we have to have a quality management system in place. And so as odd as that may seem, a lot of schools don't have an active, well-designed, and well-executed quality management system, making sure that we're doing the things we need to do. And most importantly for the students, making sure that the students are achieving the learning outcomes that they're designed to achieve. The AACSB reinforces the need for that. Many schools do that well without the AACSB, but it reinforces that. And the AACSB accreditation goes a long ways to saying this school is on top of things. When I looked at coming back to the United States to go to a school, Tarleton State's College of Business was not AACSB accredited, and I looked at several schools that were AACSB accredited, but I was assured that Tarleton State's College of Business is on a path for AACSB accreditation, and that was the deciding factor for me. So yeah, I would encourage everybody to if you're looking for other schools, if they're not AACSB accredited, that may be a good school, but I would try to stick with something that you know is going to be tried and true.
Yes. Well, and as you mentioned, there are many very prestigious employers who will not, who offer, for example, tuition reimbursement programs and financial support for their employees to pursue
Mhm.
higher education, but they will not reimburse for business programs that are not AACSB
Mhm.
accredited. And so that's another thing to be mindful of as well.
Right. Yeah. So employers of choice are, I mean, they're looking for some way to make sure because nobody wants to make a hiring mistake. I hired a lot of accountants when I worked at Southwest Airlines. The last thing I wanted was another hiring mistake. I made plenty of hiring mistakes, but I wasn't going to make the hiring mistake of hiring somebody from a school that I didn't know anything about the school. The
Mhm.
AACSB accreditation is a way to signal that the graduates from this school are solid.
Yes, yes. Yes. Wonderful. Well, Dr. Thomas, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for our time, for your time. And I want to thank our live audience members for your time and for your questions. As a reminder, the recording of this webinar will be available to review on demand on the College of Graduate Studies YouTube channel. So if you need to go back and review, certainly feel free to do so. We covered a lot of ground today that you might want to hear again. And if you know of others who could benefit from a Master's of Accounting program, we hope that you will share the recording with them as well. So, again, thank you, Dr. Thomas. And
Thank you. It's always great working with you.
yes, my pleasure. And I think with that, we can end our webinar. So, have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye bye.